Hello, everybody. Welcome to Championship predictions for round 27 off the back of FA Cup third round. So we've had a week off. Shame, because I had a good win and I didn't get to talk about it. But I can talk about it now. It was 13-5 to me, Sam, and I had 3 bob-ons, Swansea, West Brom, Preston, Oxford, and Watford, Sheffield United. That was a good shout, actually, because that was a big win for Sheffield United. That means you're still comfortably in front. You're 3 weeks in front on the weekly, 13-10. But I have closed up the gap in the aggregate. It's 189, 199. We said you'd get to 200 last week, and you're still one short. But Sam, a decent win for me, and a little bit of damage done on the aggregate, if not the weekly.
Yeah, it feels like we've had a good few weeks. Absolutely. Yeah, I've put a little bit of thought into the last couple of rounds as well, and I think that always pays off. But yeah, handsome score for you. And there's still a little bit of jeopardy there, isn't there? Still lots to play for.
There we go. And lots to play for you in the comments. Get involved. You can copy and paste all the 12 Championship fixtures we're about to predict from the description. Give yourself 1 point if you get a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Give yourself 3 points if you get the scoreline bob on. And for a bonus point, if you get the scoreline bob on and your predicted scoreline has 5 or more goals, you're going to get a bonus point. Sam, big game Friday night. Probably low scoring. I think we're going to go Burnley versus Sunderland.
Yeah, I don't think I can change my feeling towards Burnley overnight. Maybe it will in February once the window's closed be a little bit different. Maybe they'll start scoring a few more goals, but I think they're still going to be built on that strong foundation. It was 1-0 to Sunderland at the Stadium of Light when Scott Parker was unsure as to what his squad was going to look like. He was losing players. So I'm going to flip it and I'm going to play a boring 1-0 to Burnley.
Okay. I mean, I can see that happening all day long. I just reckon it'll be so tight, so tense, and I thought you were going to go 1-1, so I'd kind of blocked it out of my thinking. So I'm going to take the 1-1, which is far more help to Leeds and Sheffield United than it is to Burnley or Sunderland. Well, no, actually, you make a good point about Sunderland winning the home game. If Sunderland can go there and draw and it's 4 points out of Burnley, I think they'll be well happy with that. So I'll take the 1-1. You can hear Mr. Sam Parkin summarising on TalkSport for Cardiff versus Swansea. I'm up first. Sam, I'm a little bit confused here because Swansea we were worried about with Luke Williams leaving for West Brom, which didn't happen. Cardiff, we were worried about getting relegated, but really the results, they're 4 undefeated and okay, it's 1B or reserve teams or whatever in the FA Cup, but great win at Watford. So I think I might back a home win, although don't Swansea normally dominate in this fixture?
There's not been many Cardiff wins. There's been one in the last 7, which I think was last year. I haven't started my prep yet. And not many draws. 2 in the last 17, I think, draws.
No, I'm going to swing back round. I was going to go for a Desmond then when you said, until you mentioned the draws. So I'm going to take Cardiff to win 2-1, Sam.
Oh, I didn't anticipate that. I will go the other way then. I'll go 2-1 Swansea. I think they've had the better of this. They obviously had the double-double or whatever they refer to it as a couple of years ago, 4 on the spin, I think. Cardiff obviously did win 1 here at the Cardiff City Stadium last time out. But I just think Swansea is slightly the better side. Currently, 2-1 Swansea.
Millwall versus Hull, Sam. That is the George Honeyman derby. Does that work?
Yeah, well, we're into territory that I haven't really focused in on, if I am being honest. But Hull, I think, despite what losing to lower league opposition, have taken something of an upturn under Sellers. I think that's definitely the case. All areas, really. The pitch looks terrible at Hull. I know this is at the Den, but
on there.
it's going to be a little bit of an issue, isn't it, moving forward, especially the way you'd imagine his team wants to play. I'll go for the newer of the two managers here to experience something of a bounce. 2-0 Millwall.
Yeah, that's actually a scribble for me, Sam. I like that. I think there's more Newcastle smell and new manager bounce on Millwall at the moment. I think it's a tricky fixture for Hull. I think you're going to get something from Alex Neil early doors here out of Millwall. I was going to take the 2-0, so I'm afraid it's going to be another 2-1 home win for me. That is 2 in a row. It's Plymouth versus QPR. Now, we are recording, ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday for a Thursday release. So we do not know the outcome of a pretty big game between Plymouth and Oxford United tonight, also Cardiff, Watford, and we are not touching Blackburn, Pompey on Wednesday as well. I am wondering whether Plymouth might have done all right against Oxford, but hey, you know the result of that, viewers, and I don't. So I just need to park that, but address the elephant in the room. We like Plymouth at home, Sam, but I might throw the grenade in here and back QPR. We don't know anything about the new manager because for me and Sam, we haven't seen him manage a game yet. I'm going to back QPR to win 1-0, Sam. I'm already regretting it. You look surprised, but I'm going to write it down and then it's in. Plymouth 0, QPR 1. But I think Plymouth might have got something against Oxford.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'll get my old storybook out. I'm going to go with, in my mind, Plymouth to beat Oxford. So therefore, it'd be a bit of a bonus, anything from the QPR game, and therefore I'm going to go for a 1-1. QPR obviously strength is at Loftus Road, where they've won the last 5 on the spin, which has seen them shoot up the table. But I mean, how impressive does Muslic come across in the video that's gone a little viral, addressing his players for the first time? I mean, it looks like he means business, sounds like he means business. So I think he'll get the impact maybe at home park in midweek in a massive game. And I think a 1-1, 4 points from his first 2 will do him nicely. And I'm sure QPR would take it as well.
Coventry versus Bristol City.
Cure, that feels like the inconsistency derby, that does to me. But I think it's just probably because I haven't honed in on either club this morning. At Coventry, Bristol City really competitive, weren't they? Not initially, but rallied and did well against Wolves in the Cup. Scott Twine, free kick, had some good results, especially at home. Ashton Gate, away from home, maybe not as plumb. I'm going to go 2-1 Coventry.
Interesting. I think there's something there for Bristol City, Sam. I think they're quite tight.
Never surprised if Bristol City
No.
produce something away from home.
I'll take the 1-1. That's about as far as I am prepared to go. Coventry 1, Bristol City 1. Bristol City trending up nicely, but I do accept the argument they've had quite soft fixtures recently, and I accept your argument as well that it's skewed towards wins at Ashton Gate. Derby versus Watford. And again, we didn't mention it in reference to the derby between Swansea and Cardiff, but Cardiff will have played Watford on Tuesday night as well. Just throw that in there. Derby versus Watford. Oh, I like Derby at home, and I feel Watford are trending down, and they've got themselves a 3-game week essentially, which they probably didn't particularly want. So I'm going to back Derby, Sam. I'm going to back Derby to win this one 2-0.
Yeah, I'll maybe again predict Cardiff to draw with Watford in the week. So therefore, 2 tricky away games. I think Watford have got it in them against a strong, robust team to, away from home, maybe just fold to a degree. So I'm completely with you on that, and I will just soften it to a 1-0 victory for the Rams.
It is Tuesday, and we're talking about Luton versus Preston, and we're expecting Luton might have a new manager. Sam Parkin's spidey senses, having been around the higher ups at Luton at Loftus Road before we last recorded, that a decision was about to be made, was correct, and Rob Edwards has gone now. So I'm wondering, do we get a new manager in before this one's played out? Sam, you're up first.
Yeah, quite possibly. It sounds, doesn't it? I think some of the journalists in the know were breaking it yesterday that they're close to appointing Matt Bloomfield, which would be incredibly interesting. I think a good fit. Yeah, he's obviously still relatively new to the game, but doing some amazing things at Wickham and probably too good an opportunity to turn down, maybe, with the resources that Luton have after their year in the Premier League. Oh, God, it stinks of it, doesn't it? 1-1 this one. 1-1 this one. I think the opponent here leads me to think this could be a bit of a drab stalemate.
Can I just borrow your story time with Sam segment, and I'll roll you out a narrative here that, yes, a manager that may or may not be Matt Bloomfield will have been hired, and he will get a new manager bounce in this first game on Saturday, and Luton will beat Preston by 3-1, and all will seem well at the Kenny once again. Oxford versus Blackburn. This is difficult because we don't know what Oxford have done against Plymouth. We wonder whether the new manager bounce will have ended there, maybe with a new manager bounce for Plymouth. But what I do have is Mr. Gary Rowett going against Mr. John Eustace, Sam, which means not many goals from where I'm coming from. I am going to apologise to Mr. Gary Rowett and predict Oxford 0, Blackburn 1.
Yeah, I quite like that, but I've just said a few moments ago that I quite fancy Argyle against Oxford. And I don't see Oxford losing back-to-back because I think they've really turned a corner. So for that reason, I'm going to go for, in your words, 0-0.
Is that because you don't want to swear, or are you just crediting me?
Just crediting you. Yeah, I don't want you to get your lawyers onto me for nicking one of your catchphrases. But yeah, I quite like Blackburn to win there, but then I don't see them losing back to back.
What do you see happening, Sam, between Portsmouth and Borough?
Oh, that's a difficult one. That's probably the hardest one you've thrown at me. Well, I think Pompey, they've got Isaac Hayden in, haven't they? I expect maybe by the time this game comes around, they might have announced another signing, possibly. I think it's going to be a big January for them. I see this being a really good game and chances and goals. So therefore, share of the spoils, 2-2.
I agree with you that it's going to be open, and we've missed some bonus points with Middlesbrough recently, potential ones, haven't we, Sam? Well, actually, I say that the last 4 games for Borough have been 0-0, 0-1, 1-1, 0-1 in all comps. So the 3-3s maybe have disappeared. Maybe I'm talking myself out of the 3-1 Middlesbrough win that I was going to go for then. No, that was my gut instinct. Portsmouth 1, Middlesbrough 3. I agree with you, Sam, and you've flagged up the need that there needs to be a few bodies in to help John Mousinho out in terms of the January window. But I think Middlesbrough will have too much going forward down at Fratton. Right, Sheffield United versus Norwich, which I'll use one of your catchphrases now. I'm afraid stinks of a home win. Borja Sainz now suspended for 6 games. And the way Chris Wilde has been building this up, I'm expecting it's going to be like wrestling where they bring out 5 new surprises or whatever. We're expecting a handful of players to be back from injury and straight into the 11, which means I think we get a Sheffield United win. I think Norwich have got enough quality to score at Bramall Lane. I know it's been difficult for teams. So I'm going to go Sheffield United 2, Norwich 1.
Yeah, don't mind that. I'll go a little stronger, 2-0, Sheffield United. Yeah, I'm not completely au fait with which players are going to be back, but my goodness me, they need it. They need a couple of additions as well. But without Sainz, that weakens them sufficiently enough to make the next Glutter game really tricky. Glutter game's really tricky for Norwich. So, yeah, I think they'll start with a defeat here, 2-0.
West Brom v Stoke, Sam. And West Brom going to have a new manager. Raphael Vicky is We were speaking about him last week, but that's still not been done. West Brom Stoke.
No, I don't think that one's happening, is it? I think there's
Oh,
been
interesting. Okay.
some kind of breakdown because of the
Oh, the
want to
coaches.
bring
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
staff in. Yes, I don't think that one looks like it's happening. I think someone mentioned Sean Dyche to me this morning, unless I've misheard, which would be
Interesting.
interesting. Certainly, wouldn't you would think give them more attacking impetus? It would probably do the opposite and make them even
Not
stingier
looking at Everton's goals for column, no.
defensively. Here, well, Stoke are really struggling for goals, clearly. Hence why Nathan Lowe is back from Walsall.
Is he
Those
coming
18
back to play
goals.
though, or are they just going to loan him elsewhere?
Who knows? Well, has he already played for Stoke this season? No, but I think the thought is he might be required for this game against West Brom. So if he does play,
Okay.
that's him, isn't it? Either at Stoke or at Walsall for the rest of the
Yeah.
season. He's not going to, I wouldn't imagine, go back to Walsall unless they bring in a statement striker, which I think has been, well, they've been rumoured to be looking at bringing in another front man anyway. Stoke. So that's where they need to improve, need more goals, need to be better away from home. Just the one win in 10 on the road. Let's go for one goal again to see it through. How many 1-0s have I got? Too many. 2-1 West Brom.
I love the fact that we try and balance out the all 12 and it makes absolutely no difference, but everybody does it. Well, I haven't played a nil F in nil, Sam, and you're sitting talking about Stoke struggling to score and West Brom just getting by on an ex-Carlos Corberon team while they're trying to replace them. So Mark Robins would love a clean sheet and 0-0 in this one, wouldn't he? So that's what I'm going to predict. West Brom 0, Stoke 0. We are going to round this out, Mr. Parkin, with Leeds versus Sheffield Wednesday, a good old Yorkshire derby. And Leeds are just too strong at home for me to predict anything other than a home win, even though Wednesday have been trending up. I suspect Danny Roll will tick this off and think about points elsewhere. I will go for Leeds to win by 2-0.
Yeah, I quite like that as well. This one's going to be broadcast on ITV, isn't it? This is one of the
Is
EFL
it?
games that they're showing,
Oh, okay. You
on
working?
Sunday. I'm not, no.
Me neither.
Unfortunately. So that's one that's going to be on. So the national audience will be across the championship for the first time in I think a decade. Live game, I
Really?
think I'm right in
Interesting.
saying that. So that should be good fun. I think it's lunchtime, isn't it? Sunday.
That'd do a good
Three,
number, wouldn't it? Especially if Leeds are
yeah,
involved. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. I think there's a couple more in the diary as well for ITV to show EFL games. 3-1 Leeds here. Yeah, value for money.
There we go. Right, that is your slate of predictions for round 27. Get involved in the comments. You know the scores by now. Also, quick plug for the Championship Check-In podcast, which in your land came out yesterday, where Sam Parkin and myself picked our team of the season so far, or updated. Get involved and we will see you very soon. Don't forget to check out Sam on TalkSport for the South Wales derby as well. And we'll catch you next week's a 3-game week. So we'll catch you for predictions early in Championship Check-In at the back end of the week.